It is Beauty and the Streamer. I am both Beauty and the Streamer because I do both jobs. Give me 1 second. I have kids, which is what we're watching right now. I'm trying to see if I can go live on here. Sorry if you can only see part of my face right here. Okay, you can kind of see my whole face. Okay. Sorry if the video quality is off right now. It is, I started at 18. I wasn't really sexually active, so I ended up getting off the birth control at maybe 19 or 19 going on 20. And then a few months after I turned 20, I decided, because I had heavy periods, and because of the heavy periods, I decided to try and get back on the birth control. Wasn't working. I just decided, I've been deciding on and off for the past, I would say, 8 years about being on birth control and not being on birth control. So, fast forward to 2 years ago, I was 24 years old. I'm 26 now, just turned 26 April 7th. But I was 24 at the time, and I had gone on a trip to Vegas. I was on birth control at the time, and as I was packing, I forgot my birth control. I had decided I had forgotten to pack my birth control because I was rushing. I was trying to get out of the house. My ride to the airport had already gotten there, and I hadn't quite finished packing. I had like a few little things to pack that I had thought the night before I would have time to pack, and it turns out I didn't. So in my rush, I forgot my birth control, and I did not notice until I actually got to Vegas and had to take my birth control that night. Um, that was horrible, and I never want to do that again. And actually, it wasn't the airport, it was the Greyhound station. I took a 15-hour ride from California to Las Vegas, and I thought I was fine because I wasn't due for my period for a few days. So once I got to Vegas, I was like, okay, I'm not, worried about it. Um, my period's gonna come in a few days. And so I wasn't worried about it after I discovered it. I didn't really think about it. And then I went home a few days later, and the day of my leaving Vegas, I started my period. It was the worst period I've ever had in my entire life. And I had decided just to get off the birth control. Um, so I decided to get off the birth control. I told my mom I wanted to try and get pregnant again. That has not happened yet, but when it does, I will let you guys know. And I have not been on birth control up until yesterday. That is why I have this pack, and you'll be seeing this pack a lot in this video because I want you guys to focus on birth control and my journey with not just birth control, but like fertility issues, period. So I realized that I was having issues with my period around February. I had realized it was coming up on my 26th birthday, and after one period, I realized, like, hey, my periods aren't heavy or they're not regular like how they used to be. And I know that this might be graphic for some people, and some people might not want to know this, but I'm making this video just so that if you are somebody who has been on birth control, whether it's the pill, the patch, or the shots, this might be something that you feel like is normal, and honestly, it might not be normal for you to kind of lose, hmm, for you to kind of lose um, having a regular period. And I'm going to give you a definition really quick before I go on with the story. So, for me, a heavy period was regular. I would bleed heavily for 2 days, and then for the last 3 days, I would be like kind of tapering off. And throughout my entire period after birth control, after I got off the birth control these past 2 years, it was the first day would be light, practically nothing, all throughout until the fifth day when my period began. So I kind of got scared when I realized it was coming up on my 26th birthday and my period hadn't, become regular again. I wasn't changing my pad more than once every single day. So I would wake up in the morning, change my pad from the night before, and go on about my day, and not have to change again until the next day. And I know some people might think, like, isn't that like something that's regular? Isn't that, you know, um, what a period is supposed to be? And it's not. Sorry, my computer went blank, so it's going to say that I dropped a couple into. I've been on my period for about 18 years, and I've had mostly consistent menstrual cycles for about that whole 18 years. I'll be 28 in 2 years, so I've been on my period since I was 8, and that's 18 years. And I've had a missed period or two when I was younger, like in elementary school, but I feel like that was normal because, I'm 8 years old. I'm not really supposed to have a period at that age, so I felt like it was normal to miss a period. Um, and this past February on the 21st, I had just noticed my period still was not coming back. I thought eventually it would come back to being regular, and it didn't. So I ended up talking to my mom about it, and I basically told her, like, I'm going to talk to my doctor because my periods aren't coming back, and it's kind of worrying me. And when I went to my doctor, I set up an appointment before February 21st, so it was probably around Valentine's Day that I had noticed, or whenever my last period had been. That was when I noticed that my period wasn't coming back. So when I was at the doctor's office, I told her that I had not been having a regular period for about 2 years. I told her that I had been on birth control several times. They usually, my period usually came back regular, and it hadn't come back this time. It was just strange to me. It was strange to my doctor. So on the 21st, she ordered for me to get a blood test, and I did. She had ordered for me to get a blood test, and I went to get the blood test. When I went to go get the blood test, I think they took around, sorry, checking my notifications again. I think that they took around maybe 8 to 10 vials of blood, which to me was a lot. So I was like freaking out because I didn't understand why they were taking so much blood and what was really going on with me. So, sorry. So I waited maybe a few weeks, and in March they told me that My iron was very low. Not only that, but I also went to see my OB, which is my OBGYN. I just call her my OB because it's easier for me to say that. So I went to go and see my OBGYN, and she had also around that time ordered some blood tests and an ultrasound, which I thought was strange because that's not what I had come there for, but she wanted to see if it was anything going on with my reproductive system. And so I went to get my blood drawn. I got the blood drawn and I waited until about March 20th. It took them a month to process all my test results and get the blood tested and everything like that because I had been saying that for years that I was anemic. And I had already had that in my records. So I was very upset because I told her beforehand that I was anemic the entire time, that I had been pregnant 6 years ago, and she still wanted me to get tested for anemia. I guess to see if it had gotten worse or if it had gotten better, and it did not get better. It actually did get, I guess, worse, because at first I didn't know my number, like my blood platelet number or my cell count number, I guess. I don't know what number they tested, but my number was at a 5.4 when I had to go and get my blood transfusion the very same day. And I panicked. I instantly called my mom um, out of her room and I was like, we need to go to the hospital now. My doctor said we need to go to the hospital right now because it's very important. I need a blood transfusion. And she kind of looked, my mom kind of looked like, okay, like, I think that she was so surprised that it kind of registered as is this a joke? Like, are you serious? Like, I don't know. Because I kind of felt like this can't be real. Like, this can't be serious. Like, it's a joke that I need to go get a blood transfusion. Mind you, I've never had one. This is my first blood transfusion. This is happening literally right after I get my test results. And this is out of the blue. I hadn't even expected to get my test results that same day. I had expected for my doctor to have me go to her office and get my blood drawn and, have her talk to me at her office. But instead, she called me and we went over the test results. And the conversation basically was her telling me that I needed the blood transfusion. And I was like, okay, but did you find anything else? My only concern was whether I was able to have children. And she said, that's not what I'm worried about. That's not the biggest issue here. You need to go and get the blood transfusion. Because my blood was so low in whatever they had looked for, I ended up having to get 2 blood transfusions. Now, one blood transfusion is 2 hours. I had to be there for 4 hours because I had to get 2 bags of blood, which every bag is called a transfusion. And if I had to get 1 bag, that's 1 blood transfusion. If I had to get 2 bags, so that's 2 blood transfusions. Um, I found out that my blood type is B positive, which is kind of ironic for me because I have depression. So B positive, depression, I just thought that was like a funny thing to realize. And it's like not funny haha, but like funny and ironic. And basically, I stayed in the hospital for I think maybe a total of 6 hours. My mom and I got there. I don't even think it was 6 hours. I think it was longer than that. So my mom and I got there around 4. The doctor didn't see us until like 6. So, and we didn't leave until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was there for a total of 8 to 9 hours. And I felt better, but the whole time I was there, it was kind of just like I'm tired of my arm being the way it is because I had to lay with my arm out like this. And this was my arm for 4 hours that I had to get my blood drawn. And not my blood drawn, but my blood transfused. So I had to have somebody else's be brought with blood in me. And it took them 4 hours, but I had to lay like this with my arm for 4 hours. And that experience was not the best. I ended up getting really bored, and every time I would pick up my phone, I would go like this, or like I would go like this to try and look at my phone. But since my phone was across from me, I would go like this. And if you bent your arm even in the slightest motion, all the monitors you would be hooked up to would go off. So all throughout the night, you could hear monitors going off because I wanted to be on my phone because I was so bored. They didn't have a TV in there, and well, they did, but it didn't work. So I basically tell people that they didn't have TV in the room, which is pretty much the same thing. Um, I couldn't really watch any like shows on my phone because not only could I not move my arm, their Wi-Fi was not working, so I was bored. And so after that, after the blood transfusion, I have been feeling better. I've been getting a lot more rosier, like my complexion is a lot more rosy. My lips are a lot more pink. Back before I got the blood transfusion, if you've seen any of my previous videos, I'm sorry that I keep going up like this, but if you've seen any of my previous videos, this line underneath would be white, and then right here at the bottom would be white as well. And I think that's what my doctor kind of noticed about my complexion, that my lips were white around the edges. And that's why she was so worried. But I ended up um, getting prescribed iron pills that same night because I had just told them, like, my doctor is going to prescribe them to me anyway. You might as well do it while I'm here. So they prescribed me some iron pills. Um, a few weeks later, I went back to my OB, and then I went back to my primary care doctor, and my primary care doctor suggested that I go to an oncologist. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, the oncologist checked out my records, and she saw that my test results were saying that I was B vitamin deficient, that I needed iron, and that I probably needed to be on birth control. So when I never went back to my OBGYN to confirm that I needed to be on birth control, I just asked the oncologist if she would prescribe me birth control because my my OB was gonna say that I needed birth control anyway. And basically, what the oncologist relayed to me was that she believes that because I started my period at age 8, that caused my anemia to where I can have children whenever I'm ready because my hormones are high enough and they're in the right levels. But because of my anemia, if it's not under control, it is very dangerous for me to get pregnant at this age because when you are anemic, you bruise easily and you tend to bleed a lot. And that's something I've noticed throughout the years of being anemic and really noticing that I was anemic. That even if I have like a small cut on like my leg or if I scratch too hard or something, um, I'll get a scratch or like a small cut and I'll bleed. Or if I get a bruise, I bruise for maybe a month and then I get small bruises that don't go away, or I get big bruises that will be there for a month or two and then they'll reappear somehow in the same spots. So I am now on iron pills. I am now on a constipation pill for the iron, which I don't take because I don't have those issues. And iron pills are supposed to make you constipated, so I'm supposed to take those, but I don't take them because I don't have those issues. And I don't care about sharing these experiences with you guys because I feel like maybe this can help somebody if they're going through the same thing, or if they're just now discovering that, something may not be right with them after taking birth control. And I wish I didn't have to take it, but if it's going to help with my anemia and my wanting children in the future, I'm fine with taking it. Oh, it dropped a frame. I don't care. Once that happens, I'll most likely get off the birth control and be able to have children of my own. Um, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will definitely keep you updated on my fertility journey. If anything happens, I'll let you know.